Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
What up, y'all? This is the second edition of Tailgate Talk, one of our new shows coming straight to you. This is the second edition. I got my man Wine Time from WineTimeSports here. Wine Time, tell them, in case they didn't know, tell them who you are, what you do, and where they can find you at Wine Time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, WineTimeSports, guys. You can follow me over at X. Posting my plays every single day. I post them on baseball, college football, NFL, NBA, all of it, honestly. College football and NFL are my favorite sports to cap. So give me a follow on X, WineTimeSports.
There it is right there. Now, I'm going to give you a breakdown of what we're doing today, and then we're going to run through it. But so the people can know, this is Tailgate Talk. First up, we have some coaching changes that we're going to rate as keep or cap. Then we have some transfer ratings that we're going to deem to be a big deal or no deal at all. And then, last but not least, we're going to have banger bust teams that are returning multiple players, 8+ players on offense, 8+ players on defense, top of the crop. And we're going to let you know if we think they are a bang and bust. Any questions, my man Wine Time?
No questions over here. I'm ready to talk about some college football. We're only about, 6 days away now, so I'm ready to go.
Hey, well, everybody strap in your seats, take a sip of water, and let's jump right into this with my man Wine Time. First up, Nick Saban is out, retired. What a great man for the sport of college football. But Kalen DeBoer steps in his shoes, and Kalen DeBoer, he has a nice resume coming on over here, and this could be a thing. Do you think they should keep him, or is this just cap? How you feel about this one?
Yeah, I was a big Nick Saban fan. Growing up watching college football, he's kind of the GOAT of our generation these last 20, 25 years. Really good guy. I was sad to see him retire, but, leaves behind some pretty good talent there for Kalen DeBoer, who's coming over from Washington, who also turned around, a program that was heading in the wrong direction for, many years. And this guy really came in and turned it around. Grabbed a quarterback that was injured from Indiana and Michael Penix. He got his all three receivers, all dynamic playmakers, and he transformed this team to be a national title contender. You know what I mean? So he took a team like Washington, Pac-12 team, all the way to national championship. I don't see why he can't do it one point with Alabama, but, we'll see. He's got big shoes to fill in Nick Saban. So, do I think he's Nick Saban? No. But do I think he can win 9 games maybe in his first year? Maybe. Nothing more than that, though, but I'm not super high on him going into – I am high on him. I don't want to say I'm not, but it's a big shoes to fill in Nick Saban.
So do you think they should keep him, or you think this whole thing is just cap?
Cap.
It's all cap. Next up, we got my man Jed Fish out for better things from Arizona, and we bring in San Jose State's finest, Brett Brennan. Keep him, or is this just cap?
I say keep him. He's coming from a program like San Jose State, not a super popular program, but they've been managed to win some games these last couple of years, and he comes into a good system with one of the better quarterbacks in the Big 12, and he's also got one of the most dynamic receivers, not just in the conference but in the nation. I think keep him.
Keep him. Let's keep it rolling. Next up, we got Mike Elko out once again for bigger and better things, and we bring in Manny Diaz here at Duke. Keep him, or is this just cap?
Cap. By all means, I'm not a Manny Diaz fan. I never really have been. He was the head coach over at Miami, had a really good team. He was killing it in the recruiting trail and the transfer portal too. Had the talent, just really couldn't get over the hump. I think it's all cap. I don't think he's going to last long at Duke at all, maybe 1 or 2 years.
There it is there. Cap. Next up, this was a force play. My man Mel Tucker had to step down. And just so y'all know, Mel Tucker, he filed a wrongful lawsuit. And it's going to be coming up soon. But Jonathan Smith steps in for a Michigan State team who had a tough year last year. Keep him or cap for Jonathan Smith?
Keep him. I'm super high on Jonathan Smith. His big boss talked about it a lot last year at Oregon State. Didn't have the NIL money at Oregon State. Didn't have the luxurious atmosphere around. You know what I mean? Kind of a small town and for Oregon State, but you know what? He's going to head it over to a big program like Michigan State. They paid him the big bucks. That was the only reason why he left his alma mater. He was one of the coaches that I wanted to actually head over to Westwood at UCLA to take over. Didn't happen, but I think he's going to do good things at Michigan State. Maybe not year one, but this guy is going to be the future coach for at least the next 5 to 10 years.
Ooh, we get to keep him right there. Next up, our guy Jimbo Fisher. They had to cash him out $77 million to get him up out there. But is Mike Elko worth the $77 million cash out and keep going? Keep him or cap?
I'm going to say keep him. Mike Elko did really good things over at Duke with the little talent that he did have there. Jimbo Fisher, he had all the talent in the world over at A&M. He had all the money to lure the kids in. He got the 5-star recruits. He really couldn't get over that hump, couldn't get out of his head. He wanted to run that offense. It's just not modern college football, I think, with Jimbo Fisher. Good for him cashing out, but I think this is definitely an upgrade at the coaching position because I just think Jimbo Fisher had to go. He had to go. If he would have stayed there one more season, I think they would have lost their fan. They lost a lot of their fan base. Let's just say that. So, I'm going to say keep him to Mike Elko.
Keep for Mike Elko. Next up, Kalen DeBoer, of course, went to Alabama, but Jed Fish comes over from Arizona. Now, we know you're a Pac-12 guy, or used to be at least. Keep him or cap for this one over here to Washington?
Yeah, I'm going to say keep him. I'm a big Jed Fish guy. He turned around a Pac-12 program like Arizona, had a good quarterback in the beginning of the season, ended up getting hurt, and he brought in a redshirt freshman out from Servite, 5'10", 190 pounds, and he was just throwing the ball all over every single defense in the Pac-12. I know Pac-12 wasn't really super known for playing defense last year. I saw him torch a lot of good defenses, though, including UCLA secondary, and that kid can chuck it. I think he's inheriting a pretty good I think he's in a pretty good spot, so I'm going to say keep him.
There we go. Now, big deal, no deal. First up, KJ Jefferson, quarterback at Arkansas, moves over with Gus Malzahn over here at UCF. Big deal or no deal right here for KJ Jefferson?
Big deal for KJ Jefferson, I think. You look at this guy, you see almost like a Cam Newton stature. He's got the tools to be good. He's never really had the extreme downfield arm talent. At least he hasn't really showed it at the collegiate level in the SEC. Doesn't mean he can't do it. He's got all the tangibles to be really good, and he's going to a UCF program that I think this offense is going to only benefit him. They're going to work around him, and he's not going to have to work around the coach's offense. This offense is going to be designed for KJ Jefferson. I believe either the offensive coordinator or the coach was involved with Cam Newton's college career too, if I'm not mistaken. So you know what? I think it's going to be good for UCF and for KJ Jefferson.
There it is there. Next up, Trevor Etienne is headed from Florida over to Georgia, where they already have a pretty good running back room. Big deal or no deal for Etienne?
No deal. Not a big deal for Etienne, I don't think. I don't think he's his brother, who's playing in the NFL right now for the Jags. Do think he's a really good athlete. I do think he's a pretty good running back, but he's going to be sharing touches in that room. He might win a championship, might be a big part of that in the final game. But he's not going to have a huge year, I don't think, this year, 1,000 yards plus. It's just there's going to be too many mouths to feed in that room. So I don't think it really benefited himself and his stats, but maybe for him to win.
Now, as a follow-up to when we first had our first show together and talked some college football, you brought this guy's name up, and you was he was spot on what he could do when he got on the field. But where he ended up and how he ended up in the transfer portal at the end, I'm gonna leave this one to you with Dante Moore coming from UCLA, going over to Oregon, where he's not even the starter yet. I don't think, or I don't know. Big deal or no deal for our guy Dante Moore.
You know what? This is a tough one, boss. I was a big Dante Moore fan coming out of high school, even when he was starting at UCLA. He showed his arm talent against the less superior teams, not really the Power Five teams. But he was a true freshman, young kid out there making the big bucks. He was pressure on to start. He shouldn't have started. He's transferring over to Oregon, where no, he's not starting. Dylan Gabriel is going to be starting. Unless he goes down, Dante Moore will be the guy. And I have heard good things about Moore in fall camp and stuff, but he's mostly working with the twos. He's very much the backup quarterback going into this year. But you know what? Being under that offensive coordinator who just got Bo Nix, a first-round draft pick, could get Dylan Gabriel a first-round draft pick if they do a similar run what they did last year, which I don't think shouldn't be a problem with the athletes and talent and money that Oregon has. You know what? I'm going to say big deal for Moore because next year it might be a one and done, and he might be a first-round draft choice.
There it is. There, I like the answer. Let's keep it rolling. Next up, another quarterback, Cameron Ward. This is his third team right here. Jumped from Florida State, Washington State. Now he's at Miami. Big deal or no deal, Wine?
Yeah, boss. I've kind of talked your head off about this kid this whole summer in fall camp. Big fan of Cameron Ward. He came over from Incarnate Word. Was a FCS program, toured up there for a couple years, went to Washington State. The highlight, if you look at his highlight tape, college football, he could have gone to the NFL. I don't think he would have really gone super high, but he definitely would have been drafted. He makes a decision, go to Miami, and he's going to be thrown to some very dynamic receivers. They revamped their offensive line. I think this is a big deal for Cameron Ward because I think if he has the year that I think he's going to have, he's going to be a top 10 draft pick.
I heard it right here from my man Winetime. Let's keep this show rolling. Next up, Dylan Gabriel going from Oklahoma on over to Oregon. And he was a recent stop at Central Florida, Oklahoma, now Oregon, the Triple Deke. What do you think about Dylan Gabriel? Big deal or no deal?
Big deal for Oregon. This kid's got so much college experience, similar to Bo Nix going into Oregon. He's coming from a different conference, Big 12 in Oklahoma, now in the SEC. I totally understand the move, the transfer move. He couldn't have gotten drafted super high last year, but he's a dynamic quarterback. He's got all the experience you want. He's a leader on the field. He's not the biggest quarterback, you know what I mean? He's a lefty. He's got some good spin on that ball, though. I think this is going to be big for him if he wants to get drafted this year. He doesn't have the NFL stature, so I don't know if he's going to be a first-round draft choice. But I definitely think he's going to be in the Heisman run. And if Oregon's going to have the dream year that they did again last season, he's going to be a big part of it. He's going to be throwing for yards. He's got athletes all around him. Oregon has all the money and all the athletes right now. So really, he's got all the resources. So I think it's a big time for Dylan Gabriel.
Big deal for Dylan Gabriel. Now, this guy goes from Ole Miss over to Ohio State, Quishon Judkins. Big deal or no deal for Ohio State and Quishon?
Yeah, boss. I just got to say, I love these all these teams and players that you've picked out because, I was a big fan of this guy last year at Ole Miss. He was all over the field. He transferred. They have a really good backup running back over there at Ole Miss who's now the starter there. Judkins wanted to hit the transfer portal, and this guy's got every tool in the shed. He's really good. Not only he's got Chip Kelly now telling him the plays every play. And if you look at UCLA's history, these last couple of years, they've had some really good running backs that have been getting drafted, and he's a run-first guy. This guy's going to get touches. This guy he's going to get drafted this year. I don't know where he's going to go in the draft, first, second, third round. This guy's an NFL back. I think he's going to have a big year, especially with Chip Kelly, especially if he gets the touches that he's going to get. He's also going to get him out in space. He's going to catch balls, and he's going to get receiving yards as well. So I think this is big time for him going over to Ohio State because he's going to be the guy there.
There it is there. That was big deal or no deal
Oh, man.
sector of our show, which we call bang or bust. Now, in this section of the show, we have teams who are receiving 8+ players on offense, 8+ players on defense. And we want to know from you, Wine Time, is this going to be a bang or bust season for these teams? First up, Texas A&M and Mike Elko. This is his first year here, and he's receiving 9 on offense, 9 on defense. Is this a bang or bust season for Elko?
I think it's a bang season for Elko. He's got all the athletes at his disposal right now at A&M. I think he's going to have a really good year this year. I think their win total is at 8.5. I definitely going to take the over. I think it's going to be a smash mouth type of game, like first game against Notre Dame. Just because I think Texas A&M's got a really good defensive line. They've got a lot of good guys on that defense, and they've got all the athletes. They've got the 4- and 5-star guys. I expect them to do pretty well this season.
Next up, Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin in his 5th year here, receiving 10 on offense, 10 on defense. Now, he's been known as the Portal King, but now he has all the players that he needs. Does he bang or bust this season?
I'm all in on this Ole Miss squad. This is one of the teams I'm really high on. I thought I was ahead of the game. I didn't know so many people were going to be as high on this Ole Miss team going into this season, but it seems like a lot of people are, which kind of scares me off, but I don't care. I love this Ole Miss team. I love this team like Lane Kiffin's brought together. It's got 2 of the better wide receivers in college football, and Trey Harris and Juice Wells. I think this is going to be a big-time year for them. I think they're going to do really well. So I think they're going to go over their 9.5 win total. I think it's a bang. I think Jackson Dart's going to most likely win the Heisman. He's going to be a first-round draft pick. I think Lane Kiffin gets over the hump. 11 wins this season, 11-1. So bang.
Bang for Ole Miss. Now for Kentucky and Mark Stoops, 7-6 last year. This is his 12th year here. He's getting 8 on offense, 10 on defense. Every year we think is this the dark horse of the SEC. What are we doing here? Bang or bust with Kentucky?
You know what? I'm going to say bust on this one with Kentucky. I just think his time's kind of running out right now. They're kind of like a 6-6 team his whole tenure there. Don't get me wrong. It's hard to win the SEC, especially with the resources at Kentucky. You don't have as many resources as the A&Ms, as the Alabamas, as the Georgias. You got some NIL money, but you know what? I think this is going to be a bust for them, honestly, this season. I think this is going to be one of his last seasons. They're going to have to get a new coach.
Now, we talked about this team several times in the show already, so I pretty much think I know your answer on this one. But for the show's sake, Dan Lanning, the Oregon Ducks, 3rd year here for Dan Lanning. He's getting 8 on offense, 9 on defense. We talked about the quarterback room. Banger bust season for Oregon moving over into the Big Ten.
I think this is a bang for them. It's Dan Lanning we're talking about. Coming over from Georgia, really inheriting, Oregon had some not so good years with Mario Cristobal. Dan Lanning has came in there. He's completely revamped that entire team. He brings in the good quarterbacks. I mean, they've got all the money and resources they need. Oregon's a cool place to play. They've got the cool uniforms. They've got top-of-the-line infrastructure. All their facilities are nice. You want to play there. The fans come out. It's a great place to play. And you know what? They've got all the athletes they need to win a national championship this year. I expect them to go pretty far. So I think this is going to be a bang year for Dan Lanning once again.
Bang for Dan Lanning. Next up, Kirk Ferentz, right here in Iowa for his 26th year. But this year, surprisingly, he's returning 10 on offense, 8 on the immaculate defense that he puts out every year, and new competition in the Big Ten. He's not on the side by himself now. What do you think? Bang or bust right here for Iowa?
Bang for Iowa, honestly. Did the right thing, got a new offensive coordinator in there. We know he's still going to have most of the control on these play calls. We know how conservative he is. it's for good reason, though. You kind of have to trust this guy. I mean, there's not one Iowa fan that's going to tell you they want this guy out. They compete every single year. They went to the Big Ten championship last year when they were averaging, it seemed like less than 10 points a game almost, but no one was scoring on them because of that defense. I expect this offense to take a step forward in the right direction for sure. We'll see how far they can go. Because like I said, the head coach is always going to have a say on everything for this program. But, I think it's going to be a bang year. I like their over 7.5 wins this year. I think they're going to win 8 or 9 games. It's hard to beat them in Iowa, and they've got a very favorable road schedule as well. So I think it's going to be more of a bang year. I don't know if you can get better than last year, the Big Ten championship. So I'm not going to say it's going to be better than that. So I'm going to say more of a bust, but I expect them to still win some games this year.
Yeah, well, in the past, they usually battle it out with Wisconsin and Iowa. Big Ten, to me, has always been a little lopsided, which always gave a little light to Iowa. But every time any team faces Iowa, they got to, change what they do because Iowa's a beast of their own. But now for the dark horse, this should be the true dark horse of the Big Ten right here. Matt Rule in his second year right here, 9 on offense, 8 on defense. Nebraska was 5-7 last year, and they're really trying to pour money into the program to try to get better. Banger bust for Nebraska right here.
I definitely think it's a bang. I mean, we're talking about Matt Rule here, who completely turned around the Baylor program, went over the NFL. We know what he did there. He's not an NFL quarterback. He's not an NFL coach. He's a college coach, and what he does is he builds cultures. He brings in young guys. They gravitate around this guy. I mean, he brings in a true freshman 5-star recruit. Could have gone anywhere. He goes to Nebraska. You know what I mean? Which is kind of surprised me, but that just shows you Matt Rule. He's a guy that they want to play for. They went 5-7 last year. So I definitely think this is going to be more of a bang year for Matt Rule. I expect their win total 7.5. I don't know if they're going to get over that. I think more of a 7-5 record is more up their alley. I could see them maybe going 8-4, just depending on, it's a freshman quarterback we're talking here in the Big Ten. This guy's got all the tools, but it's still a true freshman quarterback, and he is the starter. So I've got to see what he's going to do out there on the field. So we'll see. But I think it's going to be a bit more of a bang year for Matt Rule in Nebraska.
More of a bang for Matt Rule. Let's go. Next up, this one's an interesting one. Mike Gundy, 10-4 last year in his 20th season here at Oklahoma State. He's returning 10 on offense, 9 on defense. Now, he's a guy that, he's constantly competed every year, but he just can't get the oomph sometimes in the top 25 games. Does he get past that and become a bang this year, or will we end up in the same bus situation?
Over the last couple of years, I've grown to really be a Mike Gundy fan. I like him as a coach. I think the kids really like playing for him. He's not that he's in his 20th year, but he doesn't look like he's in his 20th year. He looks like he's in he looks pretty young. He looks like he hasn't been coaching college football for 10 years. I don't know how old he is, but he's a great coach. Like you said, they don't get over the hump when they face more of the top 15 teams. I don't even believe they face Oklahoma this year. But I think this is good. I like Mike Gundy, and I think they're going to do well in the Big 12. They won 10 games last year. I know they went off and won like 5 or 6 games in a row at the end of the season. It's kind of hard to get better than 10 wins. I could see him getting 9 or 10. I'm a Mike Gundy guy, but I don't think he's going to get better than 10 wins. So I think it's going to be more of a bust. Mute.
A bust for Mike Gundy. Unbelievable. Let's keep this thing going. Next up, Matt Campbell. Right back out the Big 12. Matt Campbell, banger bust in his 9th year, getting 10 on offense and 9 on defense. What you think about this, Wine Time?
Bang for Matt Campbell. This is one of the guys I actually thought UCLA was going to actually interview too for a head coaching job. This guy's got very limited resources at Iowa State compared to Iowa. Compared to all the other schools as well. And he seems to be competitive every single year, even though one of the seasons, a bunch of his kids were gambling and they were cheating. We know what happened with that, but seems like that's kind of over and done with. Iowa State's a very proudful program, similar to Iowa. I expect them to win more than 7 games. I think it's going to be a bang for him. I think they're going to probably win 8 to 9 games this season.
bang right there for Iowa State. I like it. Only thing I think is like as many potential we have in the Big 12 and Big 10, I don't know. It's not room for everybody to win all those games theoretically, you know. So I don't know how all these totals and stuff are going to add up once the season gets to going. In some part of my mind, I think almost all the teams pretty much may have one loss. I don't see a team that couldn't take a loss this year. So let's keep it going. This is the end. I'm hoping we're having fun right here. I'm hoping that we stimulated your college football nerves right here, Wine Time. And this is our last banger bus right here. It's Dave Aranza, fifth year, getting 10 on offense, 9 on defense. This guy was 3-9 last year. Could he be a dark horse? Banger bus for Mike Aranza and the Baylor Bears.
I'm going to say bust for Mike Renzen. I'm not super familiar with this coach. I know he kind of took over the program after Matt Rule. Look at his record; it's just a little bit. It's around 500. I don't expect them to be a dark horse this season. Honestly, I haven't taken too deep of a dive at their team. Look at their team. Could they win more than 3 games this year? Absolutely. I don't think they're going to be a competitive team I don't think they're going to win 6 or 7 games. Maybe more than 3, but not more than 6 or 7. So I'm going to say bust.
Bus. Well, you heard it first right here on the Boss and the Sauce Show Tailgate Talks edition. We appreciate you, Wine Time, for stepping in the hot box and under the spotlight today and getting these opinions out here for the people who definitely want to hear what you got to say. Let them know once again where they can find you, what you do, and also before he even starts all that, he's gonna be over here on Boss and the Sauce on Saturdays, getting it in with me and my man Big Ragu. So let them know where else you're gonna be at Wine Time.
Yeah, guys, like I said, follow me on X, WineTimeSports. Like Boss said, I'm going to join them again this season for another good season of college football every Saturday morning. Make sure to tune in. And yeah, you guys are also going to be able to see me on Pub Sports Radio on Saturday mornings with Daddy Capp for the morning games. I believe they're going to start around, it's going to be 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll probably hop in there around 9:15, 9:30 with him, hop in there for a couple hours, hang out. So yeah, guys, just be on the lookout for that. Follow me on X. Any questions, DM me. You know what I mean? DM's always open to questions. Always love talking about college football. And as always, Boss, it's a pleasure being here with you, man. It's always such a good time. You know what I mean? So excited that we're going to be able to talk college football every week for the next couple months. Really looking forward to it.
Yes, we are days away from kickoff for college football. And I guess I will see you on Saturday. But we're going to get out of here. That's Tailgate Talk, the second edition. The Tailgate Talk Challenge is open. Hit me in my DM. You can hop under the spotlight and get some of this picks and opinions off right here on the Boss and the Sauce.